campaign in poetry and govern in prose. I would say in Trump's case, he's changed his song completely. He went from 100% in support of marijuana on the campaign trail to now he's fostering kind of a chilling effect. You know, the thing at play here is the Rohrabacher-Blumenauer Amendment, which in conjunction with the Cole Memo is the foundation of kind of a house of cards that's currently sheltering state legal cannabis. The amendment prohibits the DOJ from spending any money on the prosecution of state legal medical cannabis operations. The Cole Memo offers a little additional breathing room for states with recreational on the books. Bottom line, you remove one of those cards, the whole thing comes crashing down. So the words themselves are definitely concerning. It does remain to be seen, as with previous statements from them, what actual enforcement efforts we'll see. But you know, I've said it before and I've said it again on here, cannabis decriminalization is money, and so it's really boiling down quickly to which side of history you want to be on from a fiscal standpoint, as well as just in terms of good policy. You know, cannabis creates jobs. If you look at California, we've got jobs for growers, for breeders, retailers, transporters, extractors, edible bakers, cartridge makers. We also create business for existing jobs. You know, real estate agents up in Sacramento have seen commercial properties that used to go for a couple hundred go for $1 million and change now. Packaging companies are cashing in, consultants, graphic designers, accountants. Everybody who has something to offer to a budding business has something to gain from the bud business. And I've been going around saying it since I first said it here on Cheddar. Cannabis isn't the issue, it's the answer to so many of the issues that we have.
Well, we know that Attorney General Jeff Sessions, back in April, he was in a private conversation telling the current governor of Colorado, Jeff Hickenlooper, that essentially prosecuting states for legal marijuana businesses wouldn't be a priority for the Department of Justice. How likely do you think it is that he's going to stand firm with that? Because we have seen him kind of flip-flop when it comes to these marijuana issues.
Well, you know, the amendment, the Rohrabacher-Blumenauer Amendment, is key because this amendment is not a paper tiger. It has successfully thwarted federal prosecutions. You know, Trump's favorite court, the Ninth Circuit, actually made a ruling last year saying, despite the DOJ's insistence to the contrary, the amendment does in fact protect patients and providers in state legal medical operations. The DOJ tried to go after some people, and the Ninth Circuit upheld that no, they're prohibited from doing so by this amendment. Now, the problem is, like the rest of this budget, when the fiscal year turns out, so does this amendment, and that's always been a concern. Every time that this amendment comes up for renewal, everybody in the industry kind of bites their nails and watches to see. Ultimately, we really need a more permanent solution from Congress, but for the time being, their hands are somewhat tied. It remains to be seen if they'll figure something else out, but previous attempts by the DOJ to circumvent this amendment have failed. So at least until the end of the fiscal year, I'm confident that things are going to probably stay at about an even keel.
Okay, so status quo, I guess, at least for the fiscal year. But then beyond that, I mean, is it the midterms? What is the next major focus for the cannabis industry? And how's the cannabis industry trying to probably lobby to some extent, right, regulators and lawmakers in Washington?
I think, to be perfectly honest, a lot of people are focused on rallying around their existing state laws, strengthening them, trying to anticipate and prepare for potential federal interference. You know, there are always people working on a federal effort, and it still remains to be seen how much steam we can get going. Like you said, the midterms are going to be crucial. I definitely think if we can get just a little bit of new blood in there, Congress is already softening to the idea of legal cannabis. They're definitely starting to get used to the idea of taking a backseat role and letting states handle it themselves. You know, and I've said this before, frankly, I don't think most people in the federal government or definitely in Congress really want to be dealing with cannabis right now. There's so many other issues on the table, even in the realm of drugs. We have like an opiate crisis, an epidemic that is incredibly destructive, and there's just so much on the table that they could be dealing with other than cannabis. I think, in all honesty, Congress is pretty eager to stop dealing with it, and if we could get some substantial legislation in there that would untie their hands and let the states do what they're already trying to do, that would be the best possible outcome for the cannabis industry and for the federal government.
Well, thanks for watching Cheddar on YouTube. If you want to see more of our videos, click on one of these over here and be sure to subscribe to our channel right down here.